Welcome to TyTek Talks. I'm Clint Brown. I'm the engineering manager here at TyTek. I'm joined by Mark Sweatman, who's our technical director, and we're here to talk to you today about what makes TyTek Industries a little bit unique from a product development and sourcing standpoint. Mark?
Mark Sweatman, technical director. Typically work with customers that may have opportunities. We have relationships with factories in China. We've gone over and vetted factories. We understand their capabilities, their limitations, have relationships established with them, understand their quality systems, and then we'll find opportunities here that customers need sourcing. We'll work with our factories to be able to source a product.
Yeah, I would say the communication is one of the big things that you get when you work with TyTek. Because we give you that little bit more personal touch, if you will. We, like Mark said, have the presence in China, and because of that, we have direct contact with who's actually making your product, as opposed to going out and picking off of a website, something that they just so happen to make, and you're going to adapt it to fit your need. Instead, we'll work with the factory and you to make sure that the product that is designed is what actually works best for you. And in doing so, the product is unique to you. So you're not dealing with a product that somebody else could just go buy at the same time. It's something that's been developed for you, and we give that personal attention and personal touch to make sure that the quality is where it needs to be, and that the quality stays where it needs to be. Because as Mark mentioned, we do audit all of our suppliers, all of our factories, and we try to do that, if not annually, at least every other year. It's part of our ISO processes. We are an ISO 9001 certified business. Yeah, I think whenever TyTek was first started, that was the last industry that Chris was really involved in, was the magnetics industry. And what he saw was, as the magnets were moving, the manufacturer of magnets was moving to China, he saw kind of a niche there that he could get into as far as being able to supply that customer service of a domestic company, but still have the capabilities of the magnet industry, which had moved overseas. And I feel like that was one of the pain points that he was trying to alleviate, because nobody knew anything about magnets. They didn't know where to get them. They didn't know what they could be used for. And, I think that that's something that we see still to this day.
Yeah, and one thing about magnets is magnets, being a mechanical engineer, magnets is not really taught, in an engineering program in the States. And so when you get into the real technical side of magnetics, you really have to have somebody that understands magnets. And so we do have resources that can do finite element modeling to be able to optimize a design and make sure that the magnet properties needed and the performance capability is well understood and can be optimized. And sometimes that's not required. And in that case, our engineers at our suppliers are really very competent and able to do some prototyping that will allow us to kind of confirm what's needed without going through the cost of modeling. But if you have a high volume opportunity, you want it optimized, that really is the way to go, is to do some finite element modeling.
Right. And I think that the other thing is, because, kind of going off of what you said, where, magnets isn't something that's really taught in U.S. institutions. It's just not. It's kind of a commodity that's just thought, if you need a magnet, you can use a magnet. People use them, they know that they're parts of motors and things like that, but they don't really think about other uses for magnets. And that's something that, if you kind of open up your mind to that kind of a process, you can start looking at, okay, well, magnets can't just be used for that. They can also be used for attaching things. They can be used for hanging signs. There are a lot of things that magnets can be used in that people just don't you don't think about it because it's not something that you see every day.
I think once you understand what the customer's trying to accomplish, we do find that sometimes there are ways to accomplish it with less magnetic material, which is really where your cost is at. So you can use cups and things to kind of change the pole pattern on the magnet to be able to get more power out of the magnet for a given magnet size, and that allows you to get a more economical design or better performance out of a given magnet. Rare earth magnets are popular because they are very strong,
Right.
much more so than ferrite magnets, but we can get alnico, neodymium, rare earth type magnets.
Yeah, and depending on the application, you have different magnet materials you can do. There are certain magnets that are great for high temperature. There are others that are, they're not so good. They lose their attractive force, if they're exposed to high temperatures. But yeah, I think that one thing that a lot of people don't necessarily think about is alternate uses of magnets, where they can be used in place of something that, maybe was just, well, that's the way we've always done it. So why wouldn't we just keep doing it that way? And it's like, well, no, look for improvements, look for ways where you can use magnets in other applications. As, a semi-permanent fastener, we have, a customer that, uses them to hang signs in big box stores, it's a quick way to, change the sign out. You can pull it down and then just re-stick it back up there. And it's, something that's economical, and they're able to reuse them over and over because they are, in fact, permanent magnets. They're not going to give up over time. So there's a lot of applications for magnets out there. I think that there's a lot more than people even realize.
But I think where we're good too is not just in buying a magnet, but buying a magnetic assembly where you maybe need injection molded components, you need stampings,
Absolutely.
and machine parts that kind of bond to the magnet and go into conjunction to make an assembly. And therefore we can kind of customize something for the customer that's unique to their application or their marketing, can't be replicated as easily.
Yes.
Gives them a bit more protection, and it's a custom
Very
product.
true. Very true.